Over the last 3 years, Baker Mayfield has completed, as you see there, under 56% of his throws intended for OBJ, which is the third worst mark among any quarterback wide receiver duo in the league with at least 100 attempts. So that has not been good in the past. And obviously they have adapted to a new place. And Lewis, would you pick up the thought there? Because I was reading in your notes, from the last time Odell Beckham played with this group to today, they are a vastly different offense. How does that fit together if he comes back this weekend?
Yeah, I think what happens now is like Odell has to really fit into what is the current DNA and the current structure of this offense, which is very much so a run-centric, run-heavy, two-back attack type of offense that just really emphasizes gratuitous, or rather optimistic or opportunistic play-action shots down the field. It is not an offense that is going to run through him. It's not an offense that's going to be predicated on making sure that he gets his touches. The guy who they need to make sure get their touches are number 27 and number 24, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. That's what makes this offense go. Everything else builds off of that, and that is what Kevin Stefanski has put into place. That is what is going to ultimately carry them over the hump if they can get over the hump and get to the AFC Championship game and maybe get to the Super Bowl. It's not going to run through Odell, but I think that's fine. I think that's okay. Look, the fact that the play-action passing game is such an integral part of their offense, and the fact that Odell is such a plus 20-yard kind of producer in the passing game as a receiver, I think it plays right into his hands. I think it's perfect. He just has to make sure he buys into that.
Bart, you've been one who has questioned the Browns. When they bring Odell Beckham back, which we think might be this weekend, how much better does he make them?
Well, I think he makes them better in the short term because, listen, you look at Baker's last game, he only threw the ball 21 times, to Lewis's point. It's not a lot of opportunities out there, but with Jarvis Landry out of there, that means the majority should go to Odell Beckham, which should make him happy. He's not a guy just that can run deep. He's also a guy, traditionally, has been a guy that was able to take a quick slant and take it to the house. He hasn't been able to get those opportunities because that's really more of the strength of Jarvis Landry, who can't do what Odell does as far as stretching the field vertically because of the long speed. So I think Odell in the short term will be great. When Jarvis Landry comes back, that's when the problem happens, because then Odell, will he be fine with only getting 1 or 2 targets a game? Right now, he'll get 3, 4, 7, maybe 10 targets if they get in a pinch, because he's the most explosive player that they have now. I think Jarvis Landry is the heartbeat of this team. But right now, Odell Beckham can do that.
So, Jeff, if he plays this weekend, how closely will you be looking at the box score after the game is over?
Greeny, if you want to know whether Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham have a proper connection on Monday morning, when you look at that box score, don't just look at the catches and the yards, look at the targets, because what it's going to come down to for them is efficiency. Early on with Baker Mayfield, he even admitted as much, that he was trying to make too many plays to his star player, sometimes forcing the ball his way. With this offense, they're all settled in. They need Odell to also settle in, which it sounds like he is fully willing to do. It's about efficiency. You showed the stat at the top of this segment, 53%, third worst in the NFL for the last 3 seasons. When you look at those targets and you look at those catches, they have to match up. It can't be 2 for 4. It can't be 1 for 4, 1 for 5. It's got to be like 4 for 4, 5 for 5 when targets and catches here.
Lewis, final word.
Yeah, look, I think all the talk about the Cleveland Browns this offseason and them being a contender was never centered around Odell Beckham. No one was hyped up about this football team as much as everyone was. It wasn't because, well, Odell Beckham's there and because they can produce explosive with Odell, but Baker needs to make sure he gets the number. You know, he needs to make sure he gets his touches. That was never anybody's point of emphasis. And so that, I think, needs to be remembered right now, that I don't really care what his number of targets are when he comes back. I don't really care what Baker's efficiency with Odell is. I think Cleveland is after one thing. That is wins. And that is winning the division and getting to the AFC Championship game. However they do that with Odell or not is really irrelevant at this point.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.